Pleased to be joined by Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Sonny Cumbie in the third season at the helm, joined by quarterback Jack Turner and Jesse Evans. Welcome.
Appreciate you having us, man. We're excited to be back.
Tough stretch you guys had in the season last year, and you lost 4 one-possession games. What was last year like, and how do you kind of turn the table to this season?
Yeah, I think last year it was tough, and I think when you add in, really, you had 5 games that you lost by 1 score less when you factor in how we lost the game Sam Houston State late. And so I think these guys have, and coaches as well, we've learned a lot from that, and I think we've grown a lot as a program. There's been a lot of positive momentum within the walls of our program, the alignment that we have with our players. I think the excitement that we have from a personnel standpoint. I think the changes that we made defensively, I think, are going to do wonders for us from that standpoint. And I think that ultimately you have a group of players and a group of coaches that are ready to win football games. And we've learned a lot of tough lessons from those games that we were in late last year. And I think that you try to take that into the offseason and what you're doing here today from the standpoint of what our guys are doing back, working out, and trying to make up that ground and to make sure that you're on the right side of those close games whenever it comes October and November.
Let's talk about those changes a little bit, because after every season, every staff reassesses, figures out what they can improve on defensively. What were some of the changes you've made heading into the season? Well,
I think that from a defensive standpoint, we were able to bring in Jeremiah Johnson, defensive coordinator that was at Northern Iowa, and really excited about Coach JJ. Was at Kent State for a season with Sean Lewis and had a great turnaround in 1 year. Was able to bring back Jeff Burris, who's our co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach. And I think Jeff Burris has done a phenomenal job with our players. He has a great knowledge of our defense and is just a really good teacher, along with Keelan Brookins, our corners coach that came with him from UNI. And I think anytime that Keelan played for Coach JJ and for Coach Burris, and so you have that lineage and you have that chemistry when you add it in with Cortez Carter, our linebackers coach that we retained, and then Ja'Cory Greer, defensive line coach. I think the number one thing that these guys have done a phenomenal job of is connecting with our players. And I think a scheme is really important in terms of what you call on special teams, defense and offense. But I think from the standpoint of the connection that they have with our kids, I think the trust level that they have earned from a relationship capital standpoint, that's what I'm excited about. Not only to mention when going against our defense in the spring, the problems that it caused us on offense, with just how multiple we can be. I think that's at the end of the day what you want to see. And our kids believe in what they do, and they have an identity on defense, and they're playing fast.
Which level on the defensive side would you say is the strongest right now?
I really like I think football games are won, in the trenches with your offensive line and your defensive line. And I think Jesse's a representative of that group. Probably one of the closest groups that we have on our football team is our defensive line. And he's the leader of that defense and leader of our defensive line. And they have a lot of great personalities, but they have a lot of strength from the standpoint of what they can do as players. And so I think our defensive line sets the stage. I'm excited about our linebackers. We have a couple of guys there that are joining us, and Colby Fields didn't get to play for us last year. I think will have an impact. And then through the transfer portal, we brought in a couple of safeties in addition to the guys we already had on our team. And so I think that our defensive personnel is in a good spot, and I think Coach JJ and his staff have done a good job of getting those guys going in the same direction.
We got to bring Jesse in, because you were just nodding. You were just loving everything Coach was saying, showing love to the guys up front. What does the defensive line unit look like so far in your eyes?
In my eyes, the defensive line, we just look like a family. Even with the big offensive line, we do things as far as team bonding. So I feel and we work out together. So us doing our team bonding, that's bring us closer together as a D-line. We hang out with each other outside the field. We just do everything together. That's just my guys right there.
32 tackles, 2.5 sacks last season. Have you set any goals for yourself 2024?
My goal is to just give it my all, each snap, each down, and also be a good leader to my teammates. Whatever they need done, I just want to be there for them, let them know that I'm always there for them whenever they need me.
Being one of the leaders on this team now, how have you stepped into that role and kind of taken younger guys under your wing?
Really just showing them that the standard is the standard, doing everything right when nobody's watching, always doing extra work in and off the field, doing extra film, just being a good role model to my teammates. When they look at me and see that I'm doing good, they want to follow behind me and do what's good, and that's what's good for the team.
Now, the standard for Jesse Evans is you got to dress right, correct?
Yes, sir.
As a fashion guy,
yes,
I saw you got some heat on your feet.
Yes, sir.
I've never even seen those before.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you're wearing.
Some Amiris, something that I like. Yes, sir.
I mean, seeing you light up, clearly you love fashion. What is it about it that's drawn you to fashion?
I just like fashion so much because I get to be myself, and the way I dress shows my character. That's just why I love fashion so much.
Okay, so how did you pick those out? How do those represent you?
I just feel like they stylish. Yes, sir. I just feel like they stylish to me, and it's it's kind of like the oversized look with like a suit. It just kind of matched with my size because I'm kind of oversized too. I try to get a slim suit, but the lady said I was too like wild for a slim suit, so I just went the oversized look a little bit.
Does fashion play a part of your game, rushing the quarterback? Do you have a little style, a little finesse when you try to get to the quarterback?
Yes, sir. Like, I just do everything like fancy, like especially like my celebration. And I also got to have like a little field drip on the field too.
Okay.
Yes,
well, we do have a highlight of yours. So let's take a look at the little field drip against Nebraska on the big stage. And look at this, chasing down the quarterback. Take me back to the snap. What'd you see pre-snap? How'd you get the sack?
Well, pre-snap, I was just playing my man, and once I seen he still had the ball, and I seen him roll out, said I gotta get it's a big game, Nebraska, I gotta get paid. Like, once he stuck his arm out, I grabbed him, I held on for dear life until he went down.
Would you define that as field drip?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see the left leg. He got a little something on that left leg.
Yes, sir.
The sleeve.
I tried to celebrate, then I seen the ball was down. I tried to dive on the ball, but I tried to celebrate too. But then when I seen the ball was on the ground, I said, oh, I got to get on the ball.
Oh, you just completed the play. You got the sack, the strip, and then jumping down on it. I like it. Okay, let's go to the offensive side. What have you seen so far? It's spring ball and heading into the season from the offensive unit.
You know, I think from our offensive standpoint, again, it starts with the offensive line. I think you have a guy like Bert Hale and Jaron Gilbert who've played a lot of football in this league, have played a lot of successful football in terms of their personal development and growth. I'm looking forward to those guys anchoring our offensive line. I think we have a chance to be bigger on our offensive line and really be able to move people more so than any time that we've been here in the previous 2 seasons. I think we have guys, big bodies that tackle that I think are athletic, that can move people in the run game. And I'm really excited about seeing that group continue to gel, really under the leadership of Bert and Jaron. And I think our running back room, you know, Marquise Crosby was hurt all season last year, and it's a difference maker for us in the running back room. Add in Denario Davenport, who we got through the transfer portal, and also Amari Wiggins is another young name that I think will really help us at running back. I think the receiver room, there's talent. It's just getting those pieces all together and where do they fit from the standpoint of outside receivers, inside receivers, and getting that unit together and putting those players in the right position for success. But I think you have guys that have been successful in our offense. We were able through the transfer portal also to add some age in that room in terms of you brought in 2 to 3 players who have had over 500 snaps of college football. And so I'm excited about a guy like Jimmy Holiday who played at Western Kentucky coming over, and I think Brad provides immediate experience. He can stretch the field vertically. And I think that, at our quarterback position, I think Jack solidifies that room. We've got 2 young guys behind him, and Blake Baker and Evan Bullock, who are really talented, and it's a great room. And then our tight ends, they really make the whole thing go. We asked those guys to play really 3 different positions, and we got a guy like Nate Jones, Eli Finley, and John Locke coming back. And so I think from an offensive standpoint, we have the ability to be explosive throwing the football, which we've shown and had that ability in the previous seasons. But I think from running the football when we have to and when we want to, I think we'll be a lot more explosive from that standpoint.
Jack was a guy who emerged late in the season, getting 4 starts down the stretch. What did you see from him, and how did you challenge him to take the next step this year?
I think one of the most impressive first starts that I've ever seen a guy have was at Nebraska. When Jack had his first start at Nebraska on the road in that hostile environment, did a phenomenal job. We had a drive going late in that game to get us within 1 score, and really weren't able to execute and capitalize on the drive. But I think just the poise, I think the command that he showed of our offense, and I think he was very unflappable that day, and I think he carried that over into the following weeks. And I think from those experiences that he's had, because I think that's the number one thing that Jackson is just go out and play. I think he has unbelievable talent. I think 85 out of 85 of our players named him as one of the best leaders that exudes the cornerstones of our program, and he just needed the reps to go out and do it, which he got last year, and then he's had a phenomenal spring. I think most of our summer, really all of our summer workouts, the thing that we talk about with our program is creating ownership within our program from the players and coaches, and then when you talk about that, tangible examples of how he runs our offense in the offseason this summer. A lot of our workouts, the offensive meetings are led by Jack, and he leads them on the field, and he organizes the practice based off of what we've given. But we have a lot of input that he's given us in terms of the script building in the summer as well. So I mean, those are the fruits of the labor that he's put into it, and really our football team and our coaching staff are excited to see not only defensively but offensively where Jack can take us and where this offense can take us.
All right. Jack, the stage is yours now. Where does this leadership ability come from?
I I think honestly it's just come from a desire to lead. I've always had a desire to lead, a desire to have a voice. And quite frankly, I don't think I've ever been in the position to. You know, it's been a lot of waiting, a lot of learning from others and seeing others lead. But now I feel like I am in a position, I do have a platform to lead, and it's a lot of trial by error. You know, there are some things that I've tried and I've said, you know, I don't necessarily like how I do that. Go back to the drawing board and just try to figure out what is my way to lead. But the biggest thing I think is just serving those guys under me and really around me. Just doing my best each and every day to build them up. You know, there are a lot of guys with a lot of talent, a lot of ability, and sometimes they don't even realize it. And so just building those guys up and making them aware of how talented and how capable they are.
If someone's never seen you play, how would you describe your game?
I think compose, like you said, not trying to do too much at any point, and just going out and reacting. You know, having awareness of the defense, having awareness of any blitzes that are coming, and just being ready for anything that's thrown at me.
What did you do this offseason to get ready for this starting role and to really take control of this team?
Yeah, part of it was just really going back and looking at cut-ups from this past year, looking at games, situations, and kind of just reliving those and saying, okay, what would I have done differently? What, you know, whenever things are slowed down a little bit, okay, I can think clearly. And just figuring out, okay, what's a better decision that I could have made here? What's something that Coach Cumbie may have seen here that I could have done differently? And so just going back and trying to flesh out some of those mistakes that maybe were made last season.
I hear you're quite the golfer.
Yes.
We're here at the PGA of America headquarters. Incredible facilities, incredible. I mean, what have you seen and what have you gotten your hands on so far?
Yeah, I mean, this place is amazing. Just looking in this facility, going to the lounge, getting to play Topgolf, knowing that there's, I think, 46 holes out on here. We've been joking that we have to have a leash on me out here because I'm just wanting to wander around, try everything out. Haven't gotten an opportunity to, but this is an amazing facility.
How would you compare your golf game to being a quarterback?
You know, golf has honestly taught me a lot about football, about just kind of playing within yourself. You know, you don't have to be any different than you are. You don't have to hit the ball any harder. You don't have to hit it perfectly, but just playing within yourself.
All right, so we have a highlight of yours in a game against UTEP.
Okay.
And I want you to take a look at the monitor. What was the play call? Do you remember this touchdown pass?
Yeah, I do remember we were running, I believe, zone to the right with an RPO tagged, and knew I had a vertical on the outside with Drew Edwards, and have a lot of trust in him. You know, we were in junior college together. There's a lot of belief in him. Knew that he would go up and make a play if I just gave him a chance.
What would you say your best attribute is as a quarterback? Physical.
Physical attribute.
Yeah.
I think athleticism. That's something that Coach Cumbie has continued to try to just get me to realize is I do have maybe more athleticism than I give myself credit for. And so whenever plays aren't perfect, things break down, just being able to go and make plays with my legs.
6'5", 225. Sometimes you just got to go beast mode on it. You just got to go.
So do you want to call more quarterback runs, or is this more improv and scrambling on his own?
I think a little bit more of improv and scrambling on his own. But I think his skill set is perfect for what we do on our offense. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to see him live into it this season.
Nice. All right, let's take a look at your schedule coming up.
Right.
We're going to go to the monitor and walk us through some of the highlights that you see.
Well, John, I like how our schedule's set up just in terms of the balance where we play 4 games. We finish at FIU. We have a bye week that leads us into our midweek Thursday versus Middle Tennessee at home. I think one of the things in going through the midweek games is understanding the importance of having a midweek game at home and then the turnaround at New Mexico State on that Tuesday on the road. And so I feel really comfortable about that turnaround. And then we go Tuesday at home versus UTEP, on the road at Sam Houston State. And then we have basically another bye, and we start the last 4 games of our season with Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky, Arkansas, and Kennesaw. So the thing that I really like about how it sets up is basically it's a 4 4-game season, you know, and we have a bye week, a 4-game season, and then we have a bye week, and then we finish in November. And our goal is, like everyone else's, is to be playing those meaningful games in November. But I think from the setup of how it's set up this year, I think it's great, and really looking forward to the challenge of all of our conference opponents. And you know, we have some great non-conference games that you see there with Nichols opening up. It's going to be a great contest there. Coach Rebo's done a phenomenal job there. So I'm looking forward to our 3rd season. This schedule sets up great, and I think we've got a really good football team to go and attack it.
Tough schedule, but best of luck. NC State at Arkansas.
Yeah, those will be 2
mixed
games.
in there.
They're tough games. Yeah, NC State, they've done a great job. I think they're maybe top 15 in the country right now defensively. Tony Gibson does a phenomenal job. I think Robert and I is their offensive coordinator, which he was the O-line coach many days ago whenever I was playing at Texas Tech. And so it'll be fun. It'll be a great challenge for us, but these guys and our staff are looking forward to it.